Oh. That was me. We good?
Great.
Here we are.
We did it.
We're live. Welcome to Boys Club Live.
Welcome.
Live in studio from the heart of crypto, Williamsburg, Brooklyn. That's a joke. I say that sarcastically. We have a new co-host here today, Miranda.
Hello.
Subbing in for our girl Natasha, who is unwell.
Just, a little bit of a red shirt.
Yeah, which is
perfect because there are enough of us to do that.
Yeah. So,
around.
Miranda, I'm so happy to have you.
I'm so happy to be here.
It's such a treat.
So fun.
It's such a treat.
Special episode.
So we have a really fun episode today. A lot of fun friends coming through. Let me just pull up my run of show here. Okay, so we have Tom Schmidt, who we're going to talk about the state of crypto, where we're at. Are we in a recession? Who is winning? Who is losing? I have a lot of questions for Tom. Priyanka Desai is going to come on, and she is from Aiden, Autonomous Venture Network. We're going to chat with her about, she was just in Morpha.
So cool.
I've never been, but it seems like very cool people go there and do very chic things. So excited to get her vibe check on that, and then chat with her about what she's building. And then Didi Moulaji is the founder of Stitch, which is a personalized AI matchmaker. It's like not a dating app, it's a matchmaking app, which I'm very excited to get to understand. And then Paris Martineau is coming on. She's an investigative journalist from Consumer Reports. She did a big viral piece on lead in protein supplements that everyone is very, very concerned about, as am I, and as we should possibly be, but
sure should.
I will say the one thing that I've been thinking about with regards to that story is that the dose makes the poison.
So true.
So I do want to dig in.
As is the case with everything.
Totally.
Everything in moderation, including lead. Totally fine.
Okay, so that's our show. Before we get into it, a couple notes from our sponsors and partners. If you've touched crypto in any way, chances are you've already used Polygon. Polygon sponsors this podcast. We love you, Polygon. It's the chain quietly powering a bunch of stuff that actually works, that people actually use, like Stripes crypto payments, betting on Poly markets, prediction markets, and a bunch more. Thank you to Polygon for partnering with us on this live stream. And then BitKey, a very cool hardware wallet. Hold on, let me just get a visual up. I always feel like it's really important to get the visual on the BitKey.
It's a high design situation.
It really is. And I feel like people still don't know that this is a hardware wallet. This little marble
Look at that beauty
puck thing here. So BitKey's really cool. It's built by the guys Jack Dorsey et al.
You may have heard of him.
You've heard of him. It's cool, a cool device, cool hardware wallet, 2 or 3 multi-sig setup built into every wallet. You hold 2 keys, one on your BitKey device and one on the app. A third is encrypted on a server and can't be used without one of the other keys. So it's really cool. It's touch activated. And I don't know, just a cool thing. So
it is very cool. And they've really thought through a lot of the problems
they have
with the hardware.
I have a lot of feelings about hardware wallets and a lot of stress around it.
Some PTSD.
Totally.
Just by proxy, really. I mean, that's kind of the situation. We all have learned from experience on the timeline.
Okay,
Bitcoin.
So a few things going on today. I just sent an email out about the AWS outage, which maybe we don't need to cover on this live stream now. But I will say the one thing that I really thought was incredible from the story was the cost. $75 million per hour, which like honestly kind of feels low. And that's
totally given
that's like
the impact,
cumulative impact.
Right. But I guess that is well, okay. Anyway,
and then
so many questions, but it really was a long while.
I know. I was like trying to, I
slipped something into the newsletter actually.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. On the AWS topic, which was also virtual therapy sessions were down.
Oh no, not the virtual therapy sessions.
Yeah.
Well, for me, what happened was the thing that impacted me the most was it was 2:30 p.m. That's the time that my kid comes home from school and I have to park him in front of the TV. Sorry, I do for another hour while I finish my work. And I go to turn on the TV to turn on Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man. He's really excited. And my Fire TV remote was not working. And I was like, come on, guys, like, let's get it together.
Just when you think.
Just when you need it. So that's the one thing. And then
very much on Amazon.
Totally. The other thing before we bring Tom up is this Ring situation.
He certainly.
So Amazon's Ring is going to partner with Flock, a network of AI cameras used by ICE, feds, and police. So if you have a Ring, I don't know if it's an opt-in or opt-out situation, but
I think it is. There is an opt-out, but it's not an opt-in. So you kind of have to go through the steps, I think, of limiting what Ring is sharing.
Okay.
But
let me just bring this up here.
Just, they're getting deeper and deeper into government spyware. So this isn't their first move.
I think it's good.
Something to know.
Totally. I think if you have a Ring, you can choose whether or not to opt in or opt out, but I think you should know.
You should consent.
You should consent to having your camera footage be shared with the feds.
Yeah, no.
Up to you.
Totally. Not for me personally, but whatever floats your boat.
And then the last thing here before we bring Tom up is a story that I don't think that you're briefed on,
but
I can tell you about. Travis Kelce is teaming up with an activist group to invest in and revive Six Flags.
The important stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
I will say that
everyone's got to have a cause.
Totally. So a famous activist, investor, Jana Partners, and Travis Kelce, NFL player.
I thought you were describing Travis Kelce as the famous activist and investor.
They have accumulated one of the largest ownership stakes in Six Flags Entertainment and intend to press the company's leadership on ways to improve the struggling amusement parks operators' business. Shares in Six Flags surged 17% on the news.
I see that, honestly. Yeah. I don't really, it kind of feels like low-hanging fruit. I'm about it. Activism, totally. I'm not sure if I can categorize it as such, but I'm bought in.
Yeah. Well, I think activist investor being like they are going to accumulate majority shares to try and change control.
Okay. I see.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. That's the role he's taking.
That's the role he's taking.
Got you.
And I will say, I think that Six Flags brand has depreciated over the years. So I think it's ripe for disruption.
Right.
And if anyone's going to do it, it's
Travis Kelce. He's got the platform, so totally.
Okay. Should we bring on our first guest?
We should.
Okay.
We're going to trade places here, Tom.
Tom Schmidt, investing at Dragonfly. How you doing?
Good.
Great fit.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I was told I should be, dressing a little bit more adult these days, and so I'm trying to.
Have you really been told that?
Yes.
Oh, no.
And so this is a year of reformation for me. So I'm trying to, and you're trying to bring a fit to Boys Club. So
no, it really works. I really like it. If you're too tall for this,
these are great tables too.
Really great. How's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you doing? It was good to see you again. I saw you at the Aptos experience.
Thanks so much for coming. Really appreciate it. Are you nearby? Not to dox your location,
but it's a couple stops on the L, easy enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys work in an office, or are you a work from home kind of guy?
We do. We have an office near Union Square, and then we have our other office in Singapore. So we're kind of 50-50. But I'm in New York. So.
Okay. Do you go to Singapore a lot?
Maybe like twice a year, something like that. I was just out there for Token, which is good.
How was that?
Honestly, it's one of the better conferences I've been to of the kind of mega conference scale. I think historically it's like you always get that weird kind of grifty, like Doge Lambo kind of vibe. And this year that was probably at its lowest. And it was actually like great talks, met a lot of great people. It was just a lot more like serious and kind of buttoned up and yeah, I don't know. It was just, it was great. Yeah. Stable coins, people have stable coins, but I don't know. It was just like, it felt more real than in the past. And I think that kind of stuff was always kind of a big turnoff to me. But the other thing with these conferences though, is like you walk around the like the demo floor or the floor with all the booths, and it's like, dude, what are half of these companies? There's a whole other sort of sub world within crypto that I feel like I just don't have exposure to sometimes.
Yeah. I know. I had that experience at Bitcoin Nashville when I went. And
how was that? Was that the last year, the Trump one?
That was the Trump one. Yeah. That was the Trump one. And it was, it was a crazy experience. I was like, wow, I know like I write a newsletter every week and we cover the industry. Like I'm very attuned to what's happening. And I knew like 3% of what was happening on the floor, on the sort of demo floor.
I feel like Bitcoin is also its own.
It totally is.
Yeah.
It really is. Okay, before we get too deep into it, I want to first get your draft tweet.
Oh yes. Okay, I was actually thinking about this, and I actually had to transfer this over from my desktop because they don't have draft syncing. Although apparently, Nikita is working on this. Apparently, he's going to ship it. And also, I swear, I wrote this before. I don't know if you. There's a news story yesterday. Kadena, which is like a very OG blockchain, they put out some tweet that like the foundation is out of funds and they're ceasing operations.
Yeah,
and people,
I saw that.
So this is something that's been on my mind for a while.
Okay.
Apropos of our conversation, which is okay, I'm also going to rip this.
Okay.
We don't need any more Netflix true crime docs. Instead, I want a Louis Theroux style doc on the lost crypto teams of yesteryear. The teams that managed their runway well, but forgot to find PMF and now are stuck on their own little island like the last Japanese soldier. What do they do all day? Do they have daily stand-ups? Do they LARP as real product teams? I think we need a way to, as a society, to allow them to have a clean, honorable wind down and an off ramp and allow the capital to be reallocated.
I love that. First of all, I think that tweet is worthy of getting on the timeline.
I just don't want to rip anyone individually. So maybe I'll let the Kadena thing
give it space.
It's
too soon, perhaps today. But I do think about that same thing where, and I not to name names, but I also know some teams that are like in this weird limbo where you like have a big treasury, but like nothing's really working. And what do you do at that point?
I don't know. I'm more like, okay, what do they do today? And what do you do going forward? I think, you want to allow an off ramp because I think there's like awareness that, this is maybe like a misallocation of capital. Like maybe this would be better spent elsewhere.
Yeah.
But also maybe they should just acknowledge the fact that like, this product's not working.
Totally.
Be willing to throw it out and start new. Like
totally. Also another industry, elsewhere in the tech industry, at least, we're very forgiving of things not working. That's what we're all trying to do is just throw us up against the wall in as responsible way as possible. And most of it won't work. And that's okay.
We celebrate failure. That's fine. Yeah.
That's the game we're playing. I think that's true. But what is that off ramp? I don't know.
I think it is a weird crypto thing where, like you said, in tech, I guess part of it is in crypto, there's so much early liquidity and this broader group of investors that buy a token that like, I think professional VCs, investors, angel investors, they get that companies wind down and they're okay taking the risk. Here, it's like, if you look at the Kadena thing, people got really pissed at them. Yeah. And it's like, look, I don't know all the details of it, but I think that is maybe kind of this weird complication where, maybe the public at large is not okay having kind of a cultural, off ramp the same way there is for like, kind of this tech startup community.
Yeah. Well, you have the guys on Twitter who bought like $500 worth of the token who feel hard done by, and maybe rightfully so, but then they're super vocal in moments like that.
Yes. Those are always the angriest, actually, is the $500 guys or the $100 guys even.
Totally. Okay, Tom, I wanted to chat with you just about the state of crypto. Like, where are we at? What's going on?
I ask myself that every day. I think, every cycle, in my experience, rhymes in some ways, but is different in its own ways. I think this cycle, when I think about things that are different, it does feel a lot more real this time in the sense of, okay, the product usage is not purely cyclical the same way, or pro-cyclical the same way it was in cycles. I think a lot of the stuff is going to be very difficult to unwind or unratchet in the future. Like I think of kind of, the ETF complex. You think of a lot of stablecoin adoption. I mean, talking about ETFs alone, like these are obviously the most successful ETFs of all time. I think there was some tweet that like, BlackRock's making like $500 million in fees just from the two ETFs they have live. And so it's like, it's going to be very difficult, I think, to unwind like a lot of certain components of the industry that have gotten to where we've gotten so far, which is, again, very different than previous cycles. But I think overall, it's just kind of this like, the, I forget that there's like a term for it, but it's kind of like the boring success where we just kind of, this stuff kind of gets molded in or, melded into, Web 2 and you end up using, stable coins and other products and, sort of doing lending on chain. And it kind of just blends into the background and you don't really think about that. And I mean, in some ways, that's the way, the tech industry also went, which was like, you went from these very fringe weirdos in like the 90s to like, okay, more and more buttoned up. And then it's like, okay, now every big tech company is actually doing kind of everything. And everything's actually a tech company because every company is using technology. And crypto's kind of, I think, going through a similar path right now. And I think I look at stuff like Polymarket, which is like, I think very representative of the way the industry is going to go in the future, which is like, it's a mainstream, understandable product. It's not just crypto for crypto's sake. But a lot of the actual crypto stuff just gets abstracted out, and you can ACH or use your debit card to get money on. You can set up a wallet with just your phone number, like a normal Web2 app, and then you don't even know that you're actually like making these trades on chain. But that's kind of the way Web2 went as well. Is everything kind of just gets spun up for you automatically. You don't really think about the fact that it's happening.
Yeah. Okay. So boring, but like complementary.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just like there was sort of a vision in the 90s that it's like, you can like run your own email server at home, and everyone's going to be doing XYZ, and it's like, okay, some of those were right, some of those were just too early, but I think overall mass adoption inherently means you need to add some abstraction, you need to add some sort of maybe conveniences at the sake of some of the ideology, but if the sort of underlying is still the same, I think that's still kind of a win. And I think also just like the quality of talent I see in the industry now is like much higher than in the past. Maybe as a result, where if you think of the people who were like very, very into crypto in like 2015, I think very ideologically aligned with early Bitcoiners. And, I don't want to, a lot of them are extremely smart and talented, but
they're our best friends.
They're our best friends.
Yeah.
But from like a product and engineering chops perspective, I think that the quality now is a good amount higher. So
I like that. Okay. So you're you're an investor. You're talking about from a product perspective. I think that's the right view to take when I ask the question, like, where are we at in the market? But what about the market side of it?
Yeah. Is also hotly debated internally at Dragonfly.
Mm-hmm.
I think, maybe the past few months, if you think about like kind of drivers of price action, certainly part of it is genius. And I think, hey, crypto as this sort of industry, as this asset being safe and underwritable and therefore investable, that was definitely part of it. And I think also, being on the cusp of Clarity or BRCA passing. 2 was obviously the rise of DATs and those being these sort of indiscriminate buyers. 3, you could say, is this broader macro sort of melt up, which is a little bit what you see in gold and other asset classes. It's probably some combination of all of those. I think the kind of debate internally is always like, well, is this going to be a predominantly Bitcoin or Bitcoin only cycle, or are we going to see kind of a true alt season again? I mean, Bitcoin dominance is still quite high, and that generally it tends to indicate a top. I don't know. I think the boring answer is like, I think it's going to be dispersion. Like, I think the playbook of previous cycles, which is like, you raise some VC, you launch a token, the token, gets an insanely high valuation, and then great, you kind of write off into the sunset. There's some fairy tale ending. Like, I just don't think that playbook is going to be repeatable forever. And inherently, that is the nature of playbooks, is like there's alpha and then there's the decay, and then you can't keep running the same story. And I think that's true in the market. There's very, very few tokens that have launched in the past 2 years that are like top 100 tokens. It's like Hype, ENA, Eigen, maybe like 2 others, but very few. Most venture tokens have not done super well. And so I think for teams, that means looking at, I think, tougher environment. You actually need to find PMF, which I think comes back to like, I guess our initial, the way we started this conversation, and also just like the need to bring more talent in. And 2 is, I think, also other paths towards liquidity. Like we've always said, not every team needs a token. We've really encouraged teams to, think deliberately about whether or not they should launch a token, if it's the right time, if the product is mature, et cetera. And I think now we will see more teams, especially with a IPO window opening up, and we're seeing, hey, more of these, especially exchanges and Circle, being able to IPO. Great, maybe like that will be actually a path for some of these teams. There's kind of swirlings of rumors around maybe this being actually the way a lot of these labs entities end up exiting too, is like they kind of backdoor into this like DAT that then IPOs, and it holds the wallet or the product, and then also holds tokens into it. So I think it's kind of like you show me the incentives and I show you the outcome. And right now there isn't a clear sort of pot of gold at the end of the rainbow if you go and just launch a token. And instead, maybe teams should be exploring other paths too. And so it's again similar to other cycles, but different in some ways too.
What do you think about the sort of take that DATs are just a vehicle to buy back tokens that don't have liquidity in the market to drive the price?
I think that is definitely happening. Like you see some of these DATs that get announced, and it's like, okay, this token is either in some cases unlaunched, which is fucking insane to me, or it's very thin liquidity, and you look at the amount raised, and it's like they calculate the value of the tokens based on like some made up number, and then the contribution is all in tokens. There's no actual cash into it, and so it's like okay, what is this thing? And again, in some ways, it's like you take an idea and you just stretch it to its logical
There's that
extreme.
decay.
Yeah, there you go. And then it's like okay, this is probably over. And I think maybe that's where we're reaching with some of these DATs. I don't think DATs are dead. Like I think there's natural consolidation. We probably don't need like 20 ETH DATs or 20 Bitcoin DATs. I think DATs that have a unique asset will continue to do well, especially ones that have a strong person sort of selling it. There's a natural story around why this should trade around MNAV versus just like it's a bunch of tokens in a pot. Like, why don't you go buy it?
So your team, Tom Lee, I take it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know. I think anytime there's overwhelming consensus that something is overdone or it's maybe the next greatest thing in my mind, that is often like the great counter signal. So I think everyone being bearish DATs to me means like, hey, maybe we're reaching kind of the end of this cycle, but I think there will probably be another one for DATs.
Okay, we still got some room there. You've been tweeting a lot about Mega ETH.
Yeah.
Can you? I assume you're an investor.
We are an investor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you give me explain it like I'm 5 on Mega ETH?
Yes. Mega ETH is the first real-time blockchain. So they are targeting block speed or block latency times of 5 milliseconds, and you can see this in actually some of their demos where you can play like Frogger.
Okay.
Every single movement is a transaction being made on chain, but it's like playable in your browser because 5 milliseconds is way below sort of the human ability to perceive latency. And so, the idea is, hey, there's this class of applications that we can't access right now, not because of throughput. It's not because we can't process enough transactions, but it's because there's so much lag between when you send a transaction and when it actually lands on chain. And so it's built as a ETH L2 using a parallelized compute. And sort of targeting this new class of consumer applications that can enable sort of true real-time experience like you would have on your phone, like you would have in like a normal Web 2 application. And they have a bunch of cool products coming out with their mainnet. So I'm very excited for them, and I think they've brought a lot of energy back to the whole like EVM ecosystem.
Yeah, totally. Okay, what is your take on the Ethereum Foundation discourse?
Yeah,
I'll frame it as that.
Oh man,
and let you fill in the blanks there.
Yeah, look, this is something I'm a little bit at arm's length from. I met Tomaj a couple times recently, and I think he seems great. I think it's very, very difficult to steer an organization that is like as I think old and in some ways kind of rudderless as I think the EF used to be. If you don't have like a clear North Star that is beaten everyone's head, you end up kind of just having this very like muddled kind of experience. And then it's like most people are afraid to make dramatic changes, right? They want to make changes at the edges, or like, okay, well, let a couple people go, or we'll rebrand this team or whatever. And so I think it's very encouraging that it seems like the EF is willing to take dramatic steps in terms of how it's organized, how it's presenting itself publicly, the types of things that it does, engaging with public markets. I mean, it's been engaging with some of these DATs, which is like unheard of, I think, for the old EF. I think I still miss a little bit of what is that North Star that gets beaten in everyone's head. When you think EF, you think, oh, blah, 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 blah. And I think like the Solana Foundation has done like actually a very good job of this, of like, hey, we're going to increase bandwidth, reduce latency. Like even ETH people know this is the true, this is the case, and they kind of have a very cohesive story around that. For the EF, I think it feels like they're caught between many different things of like, oh, do we really focus on the price of ETH, which they don't really talk about? It's fine. And do we talk about scaling the L1? Do we care about how do we interact with L2s? Do we sort of privatize an L2 and bring one in house that people can use, or do we have them have a common standard that they can use to interact with in some way? It's kind of unclear, and I don't think it's an enviable job. Like I think it's very, very, very difficult. But at the very least, hey, they're willing to make some sort of action, and I think that's often the failure scenario for these large organizations is they're just not willing to make any sort of action, and they kind of just like end up drifting into an iceberg.
Yeah, I think it goes back to sort of what you were saying about that earlier cohorts of crypto people being just super values driven, and what they're going through publicly now being like just some public growing pains, and that being hard to watch and probably harder to go through as someone who's working within it. But it feels like there's some reconciling there that needs to happen, that it's like we're all kind of waiting for.
Yeah, I think that's well said. Also, to your point, this happening in public is probably very difficult to navigate. But I'm heartened by a lot of the changes that I see, and I'm long-term optimistic. Again, it is that weird thing you have to navigate of, you exist in a market, you're competing with other, blockchains effectively, but you still want a little bit of this like missionary, ideologue kind of story to the foundation. And it's not strictly a company in the traditional sense. So how do you kind of navigate that? I don't know. It's tough.
That was a very diplomatic way to answer the question.
Well, maybe I should be getting a job at the ETH, or maybe the old ETH actually. Yeah.
I was expecting some spicier takes from you, but I respect it. Okay. I just, since I have you here and you're an investor, curious what your take on gold is.
The gold, the asset.
The asset.
Locally at Dragonfly, we are solely crypto focused.
Totally.
So,
No. I know. Just for you personally.
Look, I will say there's this interesting phenomenon where I think gold is like much more storied and mainstream of an asset outside of the US.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in Taipei for a little bit, and when I had like a Taiwanese bank account, and when you go into like the brokerage section of the bank account, they have sort of the assets that you can invest into, and it's like stocks, and then it's like gold, and then it's like bonds or everything else. And I just think that's like so bizarre, and I don't think I've ever seen any U.S. brokerage that has that kind of clear breakout or breakdown. So I think there's maybe this kind of American bias when we think about gold is like, oh, this is weird boomer asset, and I'm like, actually this is very global, and I think there's something going on there. I don't know. I think that the kind of people always say if you want to look at like the price of an asset, you have to think about flows, and I think the kind of counter narrative for gold is like, well, this is really the boomer asset. Boomers are buying gold. How many Gen Z are like actually going to buy gold? How many millennials are going to buy gold? I mean, in some respects, I kind of agree with that. Like, it does seem like I don't think the younger generation is going to buy gold. Maybe they'll buy digital gold. But it's I hate to be too prescriptive. I think the other interesting thing I've seen recently is there's obviously these tokenized gold products, like Tether's had one forever. I think Paxos has one. They've actually seen new issuance. So not just like the AUM has gone up because the price of gold has gone up, but I think their actual like gold share issuance has gone up like 50% or something. So clearly people are also buying gold on chain, like crypto people are buying gold. I don't know who they are, but if you're buying tokenized gold, I'd love to hear from you.
It was maybe going to be me. I've been watching, obviously the price movement of gold over the past couple of days, week. And then I found myself having like, the term Schadenfreude, where I was like, when it dropped yesterday or today, and I was like, good. And that's like such a horrible thing to think. And I don't even know where that was coming from.
Did you feel envy or like,
no, I was just like, I found myself being happy that the price of gold was going down. And I'm like, what a stupid thing to be thinking and feeling. But I do think it comes back to like, it feels for millennials, which I am, and I don't know about, I can't speak to Gen Z, but like, it does feel competitive to Bitcoin as like the alternative asset of like, I don't know. I don't. So anyway, there was a moment where I was going to buy tokenized gold. I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah.
But that was
maybe now's a good time to get in. Yeah,
totally,
it's down 7%.
Totally. See, that's a good investor.
By all means.
Okay. I want to just wrap up here with your shill minute.
My shill minute.
So we've asked our guests to prepare 60 seconds, shilling anything, can be anything. And have you got something prepared?
I do. Well, I was going to shill Meggy, but I feel like we actually already covered that, so that was great. I have a backup.
Okay, great.
Which is also a mega product.
Okay, great. Give me 1 second to get the timer going. Okay, 60 seconds on the clock.
Okay, I'm going to shill Megapot.
Okay.
It's another Dragonfly portfolio company. They are building the first global lottery. So if you think about lotteries, historically, they're all run by small local governments. They're government mandated. You can't make a private, lottery, and therefore the take rate on a lottery is like 60%. It's insane. This is basically doing Uniswap, but for lotteries. So you can be the house, you can buy a ticket, you can buy a lottery ticket for like $1, do it programmatically on chain.
Okay.
And we have like $1 million jackpot right now. It's pretty cool. Personally, I'm just like, this feels like the way that lotteries are going to go, where it's not just run by some weird government somewhere, but you said this big global, permissionless product, kind of like DeFi. So that's my
wow,
pitch.
Incredible. 10 seconds left. Megapot. Okay, similar to Pull Together.
Yes, although Megapot is a loss lottery, so not a no loss lottery like Pull Together. So it's actually like you buy a ticket, but then the flip side is for $1 you can win up to like $1 million. Or right now, I think the last jackpot winner they had won like $250K or something.
Okay.
So it's very cool. But yeah, it's like, if you want to go buy like a lottery ticket on your phone, you can't. Like you can go buy it and they send someone to a convenience store to go buy you like a physical lottery ticket and bring it to you. And again, because it's government run, generally the take rate on that is like 60%. Whereas this is like, you can also be the house, you can be the LP, and I don't know. I think it's very cool.
I like it. Okay, Tom, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, good to see you.
Nice to see you too. We'll see you soon. Okay, Megapot. Let's get it up here. .com? .io? Okay. Megapot.io. Okay, pulling it up. Great, thank you. Okay, I'll publicly agree to the terms of service and privacy policy. Live demo. Today's jackpot, $804,000. Oh, I'm in an unsupported. Oh, I gotta get my VPN fired up here. Cool. I'm into it. I'm really into it. Brenda, do you want to come on in? Okay. How's it going?
Links live everywhere.
What a great guy.
Such a great guy.
Such a great guy. So smart. Really enjoyed that chat.
Learned a lot. Really needed the mega ETH.
Me too. Me too. And he explained it so simply.
So
now I totally understand what it is.
Perfect.
So appreciate him so much. Our next guest is due soon.
Running a little behind.
Great, no problem.
I said as much.
No problem at all. Should we talk about the Louvre robbery?
We absolutely should.
Wow, it seems like that was well received.
Good reception in the room. The audience looking.
Okay. So here's the briefing. I'm sure everyone has seen it, but just so we're all clear on the story. Monday, 9:30 a.m., thieves parked a truck under the windows of the Apollo Gallery at the Louvre. It was like a truck with a big ladder on it. They climb up.
Classic heist.
Totally.
I love it.
They climb up the ladder. They use a disc cutter, Ocean's 11 style, like straight from a movie. Get through the glass, which set off the security alarm. Then this part of the story I don't love as much because it's mean and I don't like mean stuff. Okay. But they then threaten the guards with a disc cutter to get him away.
Right.
And then smashed 2 display cases while the staff evacuated the museum.
In broad daylight.
And then they got on 2 scooters waiting for them outside. There was
getaway scooters.
So French.
It's so Paris.
So European.
It's perfect.
And then they drove away. So what they stole was they did not steal any paintings or any like of that type of art, I suppose you'd call it. It was only jewelry.
Straight for the jewels.
Yeah, tiaras, earrings, and necklaces. And someone had said that this means they're calling it a commodity theft. They weren't after the art. They were after the stones and the diamonds to be able to remove them from the crowns or to
makes sense.
Like, I don't know,
they're gonna
melt
launder the
down
gems.
The gold. Yeah.
Right.
It's exactly
hardware.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It would be harder to move a crown, but they can melt it and take off the diamonds and then sell it.
Kind of. Yeah. I feel like it's one of those things where some of them are such precious gemstones and one-of-a-kind gems that if they like showed up on the black market, it would obviously be like Eugenie's necklace.
Right.
Hero
I
stone.
would think that the necklace as a necklace would be more valuable, but
I guess it's just that how much risk do you want to assume in order to own that, as opposed to just owning pieces of it that are really valuable.
Okay. Oh, I got paywalled. I want to bring up the jewels, but
if you know me, you know that I sort of like love a good old fashioned heist. I think it's so French. And there have been many of these over the last few years, often sort of like around when we're heading to the Europe vicinity for a crypto event. So it really gets you kind of going. But there are some conspiracy theorists on this. Yeah, there's a little bit of a viral tweet asking if this is maybe promo for the 4 Horsemen or 3 Horsemen movies, which is The Magicians with Woody Harrelson and Jesse. I kind of am shocked. I didn't really realize this was such a successful franchise, but I guess they're going on to like their 3rd one or something. And I think that Priyanka might be outside.
Okay, hold on. I need to pull up.
Can I give you
4 Horsemen. This is
4 or 3. Yes. So Woody Harrelson was also spotted in Paris.
Okay.
And basically they do these crazy magic.
Is it a heist movie?
It kind of is.
Okay.
Heist adjacent.
Okay.
And so there's commentary that is like, imagine if, because there are also signs up everywhere that apparently Jesse's going to do like a magic trick in Tompkins Square Park
this is
weekend.
she put it up on screen.
There it is.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like
that is probably,
if I'm Universal Pictures or
not the press you're looking for.
Well, not only not the press, like not the liability I'm looking for either. Like
totally. I mean, the Louvre would have to be in on it.
Yeah. And I
just don't see a world where that institution is like playing ball with this film in particular. But I love a conspiracy theory.
Totally.
So that times heist, it's got me written all over it.
I love that. Thank you so much for bringing conspiracy into
always
into the chat.
You know, I didn't bring it up with AWS, so I figured this is my moment.
Great. We ready?
We're ready.
Okay, Priyanka, come on in. Hi. No worries at all. Priyanka Desai. Hi, I'm Dina.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. I don't think we've ever met before.
I know.
Red is your color.
Thank you. Thank you.
It looks great on you. Okay, so ops at Tribute Labs working on Aiden, the first autonomous venture network.
Correct.
Okay, let's warm up actually with a draft tweet. Do you have a draft tweet prepared?
I do.
Okay.
I thought I gave this one thought. I actually looked at my draft tweets.
Can I put this a little closer?
Oh yes, I looked at my draft tweets and okay, I love reading Substack.
Okay.
And this is kind of like shade, and it's not.
Please,
really,
we love shade.
I also love Substack.
Okay.
But I'm a little tired of like the Substack class of people just like talking about how much the internet sucks all the time.
I heard.
It's just like a little exhausting.
Yeah.
And like it's like the internet culture commentary bit. I'm just like, let's move on.
I really respect that. I would retweet it if it was on the timeline. I also feel like similar is people talking about endlessly about like internet trend and that being like this tired thing, but those people are always tweeting about it. I'm like, if you're that tired of it, stop tweeting about it. Like,
you know what I love doing is just going on ChatGPT and I'm like, hey, can you scrape everything, all the internet trends that you see on TikTok, Twitter, X, whatever, and then just give it to me in a report every day, and it like does that.
Oh my gosh, wow!
And I'm like, this is so much more efficient.
Oh, I love that. You should. Can you share a prompt with me so that I can do that too?
So I'm like, okay, cool. This is like a nice way. I don't need to like read through like a Substack analysis.
Yeah.
Cottage core.
Yes. I will still probably read that.
But
I
will read it too.
Okay, thank you for that draft tweet. Okay, you were just in Art Blocks Marfa.
Yeah.
What was going on there?
Okay, so are you familiar with Art Blocks?
Yeah, I am, but let's do a briefing.
Okay, so Art Blocks has been around for 5 years. So it's this generative art platform. It takes generative art and then mints like NFTs out of it. They have like these sets that are anywhere from like 100 to 1,000 in size. People buy them. They're NFTs. It's all like generative code and generative output in each of these mints. So every year, there's a weekend in Marfa, Texas, where like Art Blocks will put together a weekend.
I'm just pulling it up. I'm listening.
Yeah, and it's really just like a celebration of like generative art, the space, digital art in general. And a lot of the artists come, a lot of the collectors come, a lot of people who have other art platforms come. It's like, it's gotten bigger every year. So like the first year, like it was like funny, it was like Kevin Rose and Tim Ferriss were there, and they were like, this reminds me of South by Southwest, like the first 2 years of it when it was just like a backyard. And then now, like the first year, I've been every year for 5 years.
Oh, wow.
And the first year was like 100 people. And then this year was like 600, and it's expanded beyond generative art. So you have like people and, all these other artists and like new kind of like the finance people have come into art a little, like our art world a bit. So you could kind of feel that energy a little bit there too. Like Crypto Dick Butts had a party there. So it's like expanding beyond. But it's cool. It's like also Marfa's just amazing. Like if you like art, Donald Judd Foundation, Chinati, like it's just great. And it's like also in the middle of nowhere, and it takes like 12 hours to get there.
Right. How was your journey to and from?
I'm like still tired from it, but it's like 2 flights from New York and then a 3-hour drive.
Okay.
And the fact that like 600 people like do this.
Yeah. That's huge. That's a big testament to.
And it's like seeing your internet friends, and it's a cool place to do it.
Okay. So all of these pieces are generatively created.
Yes.
Can you speak a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's called like algorithm art. I mean, there's like precedent for this, even early internet. You could look at like Solowit, where he took instruction and created art for it. Here you're taking like code instruction, and then you can have different outputs, but they're all related to the same like initial code. They just have different outputs. And then here, what Art Blocks is doing is basically taking that code, taking those outputs, and then adding like a medium to put it on. So that medium is NFTs. And so it's like the same code will have different outputs, but they all sort of are part of the same network and like look very similar.
That's so cool. That's so creative.
Have the same aesthetic. Yeah. It's cool.
Not to make it about money, but how's that market doing? Just generally, not necessarily Art Blocks.
Yeah. So Art Blocks, I mean, it's kind of like the traditional art market. Like I have a lot of friends in that world too. And it's like the top end is still really strong. Like the top, like whatever, 3% or 5% of work is holding its value. And then like the rest, I mean, there's just, it's people are still collecting it because they like it, but I'm not sure there's like going to be a financial return on that. So I think those who've like picked the writers early, the thing is like there's more artists coming in and like more great artwork coming out. I actually think the bear market largely has been good for that because the real ones
it shakes out the
and it shakes out the grifter, it shakes out like the tourists basically. And so you're seeing like the quality go up. It was good to have that initial hype cycle to bring people in, and a lot of people stuck around, but definitely there's like a washout with people.
What's good? Totally. What's the conversation around like AI slop in that space?
It depends on the collector you talk to. I think some people are like the barrier to entry to create work is so low that anyone can be an artist, and thus it's not interesting. There are people who think I'm one of these people that think it's like a new tool. It's like, I kind of tweeted this like a few weeks ago, but I view it as like the first scientists that created paint, like in a way we're the first artists. I think similarly, like AI is like that, where it's this new tool, and the initial people who use it, they might be like, these engineers or others, but like eventually the art folks are going to use this and have creative output out of it. I mean, we're seeing it with all these slop videos. A lot of these slop, I think there's a lot of slop, period. I think we've just decided to call AI slop, but like actually slop exists in different forms. There's like Drew Austin wrote a really good blog post. He's like, I was walking past like a grocery store and they were playing like, I think like Nirvana or something. And I'm like, what is it at 9 a.m.? And like, that's slop. So like, I think we've lived in a slop world for a long time. People are just, for some reason, like using AI as a boogeyman to call that slop, which some of it definitely is.
Yeah.
But there is going to be a turning point of extremely creative, thoughtful people that are going to use this tool and medium and create something like extraordinary with it.
I totally agree. On the slop note, I also feel like there's real estate slop.
Yeah.
I live in Nashville, and there's a lot of development that's happening in that city. And I mean, some of it's cool, but I look at a lot of it and I'm like, man, that's slop. That's like slop building.
I saw a tweet that was like private equity's like OG slop.
Yes.
And
Yes.
they're like pointing at those like apartment buildings
Yes.
in like the mid-sized growing cities. And then even
Precisely that.
like
Yes.
slop bowls, like those are all private equity owned
Yes.
companies, and just like your blank coffee slop. Like all of this is like, it's like private equity is actually the genesis of slop, not AI.
Yeah, heard. Okay. And what's the, like, how do you, so you talked about sort of the perspective of investors as it pertains to AI, but what do you feel like the artists, how are they feeling about it?
I think it depends. I mean, like, you know, if you go to like crossover into like, we call it like trad art world, i.e. non-digital, I would call it, like those artists fucking hate AI.
Yeah.
And so even like Christie's did like an AI sale. There was like, I don't know, like 5,000 plus people, artists who signed a petition against that sale.
Oh, against it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Like they feel like it's appropriating their work. I see the perspective. Like it's not
absolutely.
like I don't see that perspective. I get it. I don't know what the right answer is actually. Like to me, it feels so inevitable that I'm like, it's going to be really the self-preservation around humanity when it comes to this technology is going to be really tough. Like we've already seen it in coding. I don't know if you followed that like Tilly Norwood thing.
The actress. Yeah.
It was interesting to see that like the amount of Hollywood creative celebrities come out and be like, there's no humanity in this. Like, you know, they were really, it was the first time I saw like the creative class start really freaking out. I mean, they did a little bit in the Writers Guild strike like a few years ago, but this Tilly Norwood thing had like, you know, they were talking about on The View. It was like everywhere. And I'm like, it's inevitable, but I also see their perspective. So
I totally do. My husband works in music production, and at this point where we're at right now, it's like he does scoring, and you can tell like there's a bunch of like AI scoring tools and
Suno.
Suno. Yeah. And at this point, like you A/B test it against something that's been played by real instrument and has a real human behind it, and you're like, you can kind of tell, and you're like, okay, this is like isn't as good, and it's not going to be as like perceptive to like it's not going to have the emotional depth to be able to assign a score to a scene as well as a human can right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know that's always going to be the case. Like, I don't know that's going to be true in 5 years.
I feel like there's all these like studies that people post on Twitter. I don't ever read them. I just read the Twitter synopsis of it. But like they're basically A/B testing it to people. I think there was one around music where they're like, we're giving them AI music and just normal songs or human songs. And like people can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
And like this is the worst this is ever going to be. So it's like, I know. It's interesting.
It really is.
Yeah, I think the creative industry is because coding has already been pretty much like it's been well accepted now that everyone is going to do AI generated code. I don't think the creative industry and like the influencer creator economy thing, I think they're starting to jump into that, but it's like, I don't think it's a fully hit yet how significant that's going to be. Like a couple of friends of mine started sending me like goofy AI videos, and I looked at the Instagram account as like 500,000 followers.
Totally.
Like that people are digesting that content and enjoy it.
Yeah. I do think there's an arbitrage moment right now where like you can spin up a AI generated video account and like do like cats in grocery stores and like get millions and millions of views and then be able to monetize that on platforms like TikTok and Instagram. But I think that it's a small window where that's going to be happening.
Just, it's going to crowd.
But good for them to be able to monetize on that now.
I know.
So are we in the permanent underclass or what? Are we stuck? Are we stuck here? Or where do we go from here?
It's a really good question.
I mean, I've like kind of resigned to it. I'm like,
yeah. There was this meme that was like, there's only 4 jobs left. And it was like venture capitalist, data labeler, like gambler,
venture capitalist,
and vibe coder. Like, I was like, honestly, that's so true.
Yeah. Oh, and bikini waxer. I think that's gonna stay.
I don't know. Get some AI robots on that.
Maybe. Let's talk about venture investing. So tell me about Aiden.
Okay. So Aiden is like, we at Tribute have been supporting like venture DAOs for
first. Tell me about Tribute.
Okay. Yeah. So we have been supporting venture DAOs and venture communities for a really long time, like the Lao, Flamingo. Some of them have invested in early stage companies. Some of them have bought NFTs, like, you know, Flamingo is one of the largest and most valuable collections, for example. And they've commissioned work, they've invested, you know, I think collectively have invested in like 300 plus companies. So you've learned a lot, like the DAO thing, like there are a tremendous amount of learnings there, and they're kind of all doing their own thing. And it's kind of amazing to see these communities evolve. Aiden was kind of born out of that with AI really in mind, because like when we started this, ChatGPT was not freely available, and it became clear to like us and the team that machine intelligence, like kind of what we're talking about, is only just going to get better and better over time. So how do we marry this idea of like a network and venture diligence using AI of a company? And so Aiden combines the two. Basically, like I'll explain like the AI piece and then like the structure of it. But like as the AI piece, you can take any company website, deck, any other information, and then like 30 minutes later, you'll get like a full memo. You'll get a breakdown of the company. It guesses the valuation. It estimates like growth and exit. It'll, you know, surface all the information about the founders from like their various, you know, socials. We have 40 diligence questions that get generated. We also have like an agentic investment committee. So we have like these 7 agents that will give you on their opinion on whether or not they would invest in the company. So it's like a very thought out report, very useful. Like we share it with founders and they like love it. And it doesn't take like a short amount of time to generate. So there's like a lot happening there. So we have that piece, and then we have a network tied to it. And we really like the idea of having, you know, human networks tied to AI. And that's really like, I think, where we're going to see the most growth. And so the network piece is interesting. Like we have the investors that every week vote on the best projects that Aiden, the machine.
Human investors.
Yeah. Yes. So human investors will vote every week. Like the best projects that Aiden surfaces, like human investors will vote every week via email. It's just like thumbs up, thumbs down. They get to read the report and dig into it, listen to the podcast that it surfaces up. Like really like get all the information they need. And then we also have a scout network that we're building out, which is like requires no capital. It's just someone like there's a lot of us who are in the startup scene, well networked. We're founders, operators, deck designers, lawyers. Like people see deal flow without realizing it, especially with the internet. Like you don't need to be a partner at a VC fund to know when your friends are raising. So we've created this network. We've got 300 people now, but they submit deals into this machine. They get to see the report as well. And then they can submit that for funding. And if Aiden likes it and the LPs like it and it gets funded, that individual who submitted the deal gets 50% of the carry, which is like, if you're familiar with the venture model, it's like, you know, it's half of the upside most venture partners get, which is pretty significant.
That's really cool. So are you able to do that because the operational costs of running this are so low?
Yeah.
Wow, cool.
So like even the management fees, which is not probably that interesting to people, but usually management fees for VC funds is like 2%. Here we're charging only 1%. And that's really just to do like the tax and accounting stuff. It's not like, but yeah, because you know, the scouts are doing a lot of the work. They're submitting the deals, and then the AI is diligencing all of it for you. So it's kind of just like this machine in a way.
That's really cool.
And like part of our inspiration is like hedge funds have been algorithmic since the 90s. I feel like even sports, like Moneyball style, like the quants came in, and now, you know, sports look a lot different. I think traditional venture is great, and it'll continue doing its thing. This is just like a different approach to it.
What types of companies, founders, like what do you feel like is well attuned to this model?
So it's totally sector agnostic. So like we'll see everything from a CPG brand, like I've seen really interesting CPG companies, all the way to deep tech, drone companies, you know, AI. Like Aiden has made 2 investments already. One is like an AI hardware company, and then the other is like an AI music company. And so it's just like, and we were seeing crypto, obviously. So it's just like totally across tech, like anything. You can really like digest any company.
Cool.
It's totally generalist.
Where can people find it?
Aiden.online.
Okay. What are you most excited about?
In with Aiden, or just like
what categories, sectors, types of companies? Like, what are you?
I kind of feel like I'm interested in like battery tech right now.
Oh, interesting. Say more.
Yeah. Well, it's just more like thinking about the AI value chain, because I feel like right now, even in like public markets, like everyone's obsessed with the chips, and then it's like the data centers, and then, you know, from there, you have to think about energy. Energy is going to be huge. Like just maybe Matrix is kind of freaky because people are like harvesting humans for energy. But
Wait,
there's
what?
No, I'm not saying that I want to do that. Sorry. I just think that energy is going to be important for data centers and compute. Not talking about that. I just had the image of the Matrix.
Yeah.
in my head.
Okay. Got it. I thought you were like citing a startup, and I was like, wait,
No,
are we?
no.
Are we there?
No, I don't know why I even brought that up. It just like came into my head.
Yes. I'm picturing the thing in the back of the head.
Yeah, but because of that, I like always think about that when I go down the value chain, because also like storage is going to be important for that energy, and then I just think like there's a lot of innovation around like battery technology.
Yeah, heard. There was a moment there where I was like, should I pivot into energy?
I know. It's just going to be such an important thing to power, what is going to be probably creating the permanent underclass.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. We have our shill minute. So we're asking all our guests to do 60 seconds of shilling anything. Could be anything at all. I mean, you gave us a great briefing on Aiden. So, but I don't know if you're prepared, if you have something else prepared.
Ooh, I didn't have anything prepared, but let me think.
Here's some examples of things that people have done in the past. Avi, the founder of Friend, came on and shilled San Francisco. And I was like, just as the city, the concept of San Francisco. And it really worked on me. I was like, great, it's a cool town. I should check it out sometime.
Interesting.
There was a guest who came on last week who shilled like being basically like a yes and person.
Yeah.
So it can be anything, but also if it's too much on the spot, I respect that.
Let me think. I mean, those are actually good shills, but I was eating this like last week.
Okay, great. Let me get 60 seconds on the clock. Let's hear it.
Okay. So, I like love having something sweet after dinner. This isn't really sweet. It's actually more on the salty side. And I'm actually blanking on the name of it, so this is not even helpful at all, but they're literally just grapes covered in like sour candy.
Oh.
And it's like a healthy food. It's like a healthy thing to eat after dinner.
Yes. Are they like a Whole Foods buy?
Yeah, it's a Whole Foods buy. It's like kind of everywhere.
Miranda,
actually.
what's that gummy fruit that you had in your house? True fruit? You had it in your house. It's like a candy.
It's like a candy. No.
It's gummy, sour on the outside, but like a healthy.
It's not gummy. It's an actual grape with sour candy.
Oh, yeah.
They're like. Oh, you did? They're like unlike something I've ever had. I'm like, this is like so basic, but I like love it because I used to eat blueberries with salt.
Oh.
And Fruit Riot.
Okay.
Fruit Riot.
Okay.
There it is. But I've been like into Fruit Riot lately.
Okay.
So I'll shill that.
So you shilled it, and that was a beautiful shill. It was absolutely perfect. Wait, blueberries with salt?
Yeah, it's actually good.
Say more.
I mean, literally, you just take frozen blueberries and like
frozen
blueberries. Sorry, I meant to say that, and then like pour sea salt on it and just eat that. It gets the job done. And then I discovered Fruit Riot. I'm like, this is a commercial success of this idea.
Priyanka, so fun to chat. Anything else you want to leave us with before you go?
No, this is great.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Really lovely to meet you too.
Yeah, it was so nice to meet you.
Okay. You can just carry on. Great. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Just slipping right back on in.
Okay, our next guest. Oh, Stitch AI matchmaker.
Yeah,
excited about that. Anything happened on the internet in the last 20 minutes?
Not anything noteworthy on my internet. Yeah, nothing that I can bring up. But we do have a little bit of a backup on our guests, so we can just talk about how fun the Aptos experience was last week.
Yes. Shout out to Aptos.
Truly.
They did a great
world-class event.
Conference, 2-day conference in Brooklyn.
Cool move.
Really cool move. Really cool space.
Great program.
Great programming.
High fidelity experience across the board. So yeah, that was great. Thank you so much for having us, and check out our coverage.
Yeah.
On the timeline.
We went fully in. I will say, I'm excited for their perp decks. that they're building? I wish I had the name of it.
Herbs and Peptides.
Perps and Peptides.
Our
That's what
beat.
it's all. That's what it's all about these days.
If you want to join the Perps and Peptides group chat, hit the DMs.
DM.
We'll get you
Thank
in
you
there.
so much. Someone said, I've really, Addie.
Addie.
First of all, I'm going to bring your comment up here. Oh, sorry.
Nice.
I have really mixed feelings about the salt and berries. I'm going to try it when I get home, but
I can understand the mixed feelings for sure. However, I'm intrigued.
I am too. But since Addie's here, I want to do my shill minute on Addie's art.
Perfect.
Here. So Addie Wagon Necked. I don't know. I'm sorry. I really probably butchered that, but is an artist, and she is an incredible fine artist. And does this work here. There are no girls in the internet. There's this one actually that I think about all the time. Let me get to it. Wow, I've never seen this one. Glass ceiling. Is it sharing my screen? Okay, great. There's one where, this one I love. This one here with the.
So, I mean, Addie has been on many of your mood boards.
Totally. Where's the one? Oh, this is the
there
one
it
I
is.
really love.
I knew that was going to be the
one.
one.
I love it.
Stunning.
I really, and I think about it.
Yeah. It's very.
It's very moving. It's a
yeah.
very moving piece. And first found her work through being in and around crypto and Web3, and have been like a devoted fan ever since. So, so honored to have you.
Perfect show.
Tuning in, Addie. We have to have you on the show.
We have to have you on the show, and maybe we'll do a berries and salt taste session.
Nice.
Live.
I love that. Oh, this one too.
Yeah.
Really cool stuff.
Really.
Anyway, I'm gonna
really cool stuff. Yeah.
I'm gonna drop the link in the chat here. Everyone should check out her art. Perps and Peptides mentioned. Yes, Emily
Lai
in that chat. Not to dox her, but she's in that chat, and it's a great chat.
Some true alpha.
There is some true alpha in the Perps and Peptides chat.
Yeah.
I do want to just do a little bit of a teaser for next week. At first, we were going to not have a show next week, just a little
hiatus moment.
Take a little break, and then I had a really incredible call with the peptide guy. The Chinese peptides guy. I'll say. I'll clarify. The guy.
The hook.
And totally. And I was like, well, I actually think we need to do not only have a show next week, but have a show that's devoted entirely to a conversation about
dedicated
him and Chinese peptides.
It's Boys Club 60 Minutes.
Yeah, it's a 60 minutes episode about Chinese peptides.
Into the gray market. Of Chinese peptides. And shout out to those of you who connected us.
Yeah, shout out to the folks who connected us. I feel like people have a lot of questions, and he should have some answers. Should have some answers for sure, and he's like willing to do a Q&A style where people can drop in questions, and he will, to the best of his ability, answer them. There's a lot around
medical advice.
Not medical advice, that he can't and won't be able to answer. But if you're curious about Chinese peptides, next week's episode will be a good place to start. I think we're going to try and do it on Wednesday. And
I should have my NAD supply by then.
Are you taking NAD?
I'm gonna.
Okay. Really curious about NAD.
I've been curious for quite some time because I am very pro IV drip, and a lot of the IV drip studios rolled out NAD a couple of years ago. It just was out of my price range for
how much?
Just many hundreds of dollars per treatment, and you have to sort of do them regularly for a certain period of time and kind of like get your
NAD levels up.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then you do a maintenance protocol of some kind, as I understand it. But yeah, this whole new world.
Addie, I'll add you to Perps and Peptides.
Great. She's not here yet, but yeah, when thank you.
NAD plus is a longevity one.
Okay. I am not the expert, so
Okay.
we'll talk about it next week. But it is not a peptide, but it's in the peptide family.
Okay.
It's just like fewer amino acids in the chain or something along those lines.
Okay.
But
Chemistry.
it has been called Fountain of Youth, and the Hailey Biebers and Kendalls of the world have been filmed getting their
Injecting.
juice
Okay.
as like how they're never going to age.
Mm.
So, you know, I'm getting the
Worth the shot.
the gray market DIY kit. And this is just going to scratch my itch because I also have been served the DIY Botox, which is sort of
I know you've been starting to
gray
talk about
market.
that. I feel as though the Overton window has
So,
shifted towards
It's not that-
self-administering
I won't.
Botox.
I won't.
I mean,
If it goes well.
I have concerns, but I'm also deeply curious.
I mean, it's just the control. There's something about the control freak in me too that tells me that I could maybe do it better.
I just feel like with that, there's like there's facial anatomy.
Yes. 100%.
Science.
Very much so. Yeah. Which is why
That-
people go to school for many, many years
Yeah.
to be allowed to do this to others. But my body, my choice, you know.
Totally. Amen, sister. Amen.
I'm gonna go to the University of YouTube if I do that.
So
but
next week, if Miranda's eyebrows are like
if
up her forehead,
Yes,
you
Spock.
know what
full
happened.
stock eyebrow to the max. Yeah. Everyone will.
Okay, so there's NAD plus, and then there's for those who don't know, GLP-1s are peptides too.
They
so
are, and GLP-2s and 3s.
GLP-3s, which is the
Retta and tirzepatide.
Ozempics and all of those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're sort of like getting more and more innovative with those. And also copper and
Mhm.
different
For hair.
stacks. There's
Yeah.
like the Wolverine stack, the Glow stack. So bring your questions next week, but also get onto Peptide Talk in the meantime if you are a TikTok scroller
Yeah.
like me, because there's a lot to be learned and the before and afters are compelling.
They really are. I will say the guy, the peptide guy, the Chinese peptide guy, has a really interesting story, kind of a crazy story, kind of a
Wow.
crazy guy.
I can't wait.
But part of what he started the call with me, and he just started going off about how he thinks that Eli Lilly is like coming after them and like trying to deplatform them from all of the
Probably.
digital spaces that they are on.
Probably. I mean, you have
And-
to be like, use TikTok language, I feel like, to talk about a lot of
Yeah,
this
yeah,
stuff to
totally.
avoid. I believe 100%. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of money in
Mm.
people staying
Is Eli Lilly going to try and deplatform Boys
inflamed.
Club Live?
catching straight.
Totally. Okay, yeah. Realizing that I definitely do not know enough about peptides. You and me
But
both,
also,
sister.
like Rhode lip gloss, I think
Mm.
is a peptide lip gloss. So this has been in the mind share for some time as far as topical usage.
Okay,
And now it's just injecting.
we're
it
talking about
straight
in-
on in.
injecting.
Trigger warning.
Yeah, which is honestly
I
the
know.
reason why it's hard for me to
Yeah.
ever imagine it.
Totally.
I saw something that was like I might have been reading this tweet wrong, but like a nasal spray, GLP-1.
That would make sense in the same way that the
Right?
intranasal insulin makes sense. And so, yeah, I think there's a lot to be learned next week and beyond over the
Yes.
next couple of years.
Okay, so set your calendars. Peptides next week.
Herbs and peptides also.
And
join the chat.
let us know if you want to join the group chat. And that's a perfect,
Perfect segue.
Didi Mulaji, come on in. Hi, I'm Dina. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Of course, I'm so excited to be
You look
here.
beautiful.
I will say I literally ran here.
Oh,
'cause
no.
I just got stuck on an investor call and was like, oh shit, how do I tell them I need to go on a live show instead right now?
You do what you got to do. How's the volumes and mics? We good? Okay. Okay, great.
perfect.
I can also move it. Okay, so you're the founder of Stitch, which is a personalized AI matchmaker. While you're talking, I'm going to just bring it up on the screen here. What's your URL? Join Stitch?
Joinstitch.com. Mhm.
Okay, so tell us.
Okay, so my grandmother's a matchmaker, 26 marriages. So I grew up, I'm Indian, obviously, you can see that. So I grew up in like this very much like matchmaking culture and would just do it for fun with my friends, you know, and like I just love the idea of connecting people. Never thought that would be my career. Literally did like McKinsey, VC, early stage startup, business school, all of that. Realized the number one problem plaguing all of my friends in the consumer space was dating. People were most concerned about how to find a husband. They were not that concerned about what is the next Salesforce. So it was really clear to me when I left GSB, I wanted to like build something in this space. So built a different dating app with a different co-founder, shut that down.
Okay.
And then when the movement around LLM started, met my now co-founder and we thought, is this a moment for privilege expansion, right? Where matchmakers are, you know, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. Could you actually replace the human matchmaker with AI and make it more efficient, more scalable, more accessible? And that's the dream of Sitch.
I'm sold.
Everyone
I'm so
a matchmaker.
Okay, wait. First of all, a lot of things in what you just said. First of all, I love that this is like a family business. You're like, it's like a legacy that you've inherited from your grandmother.
It's so cool to be able to do that. It's so cool to be able to share this with her. She used to do it with like her notebooks and her landline. And like, obviously I showed her like the back end like of what we use. And she's like, what is this?
Okay. So tell me a little bit how it works.
So you are actually talking to the AI version of me.
Okay.
So you download Sedge on the App Store. Unfortunately, no Androids as yet.
Okay.
And you download it and then you go through an onboarding, very, very different from other apps. So other apps make you write a profile, put in 6 prompts, 6 pictures. Anyone can do it and it takes 5 minutes. We go really in depth. We spend about 20 to 30 minutes doing a back and forth with the user via text to understand who they are, what they're looking for, what their long-term goals are, all the types of things you would tell a human matchmaker, but you would never put on a public Hinge profile, right? But then it builds this entire repository of like information about you and like things that really matter. We then actually hand review each person and make sure that there's at least 5 people we can introduce them to on the platform before we actually accept them. We're live in New York, SF, LA, Chicago. So obviously those are the markets where you can do this. And then once you're on and you're a member, you start getting sent intros and you tell the matchmaker what you like or dislike. So it's not just like a swipe and we have to guess, okay, was this because this person was too tall, you didn't like their smile, they're a brunette or anything like that. It was very focused on this idea that people are sharing the actual intimate details of like why they don't want someone. And there's no guesswork then. And if you both say yes, you get introduced on a group chat by your matchmaker. So it really feels like this white glove service. And what we've realized is that people are way more honest actually with AI than they are with humans.
Totally.
It's so personal. Like you just wouldn't tell me your like deepest, darkest secrets and biases, but you will definitely tell an AI as long as it doesn't feel like it's the United customer service bot. You know,
what is it like revealed preferences versus stated preferences? And I feel like an LLM would be able to discern your like revealed preferences a lot better than.
And it's also across time, right? Think about with other apps, you usually just build your profile once and then it's static. Here, because you're constantly having that conversation and we're watching with users being like, oh, I don't know if I like XYZ about this person. And the bot will like send it back to you being like, but you said you really value this. So, you know, does that mean we should change this? Should we reduce your age limit? Should we do that? So it's like more reflective, much more of a conversation.
Okay. One thing that comes up for me is like, a lot of what can be charming in a relationship is like places where something that you thought you wanted is different than the person. Like how much does the AI allow for that sort of, or the tool like allow for, maybe I said I want someone that's like this, but actually like it turns out this person's like different in some way and that's like okay with me.
So what I
that was a bad way to articulate it, but you know what I mean?
I got what you mean. I think there's 2 things. There's people always are like, oh, does this mean like the AI knows who my person is? No, we can do a good job of actually filtering through based on the things you tell us. We're constantly telling people you cannot have you cannot have 20 non-negotiables, but there are probably 3 to 5 things that really matter to you. So we divide them into like non-negotiables, nice to haves, and red flags. So obviously amazing if like your person shows up and they have all 5 of your non-negotiables and all 5 of your nice to haves. It's not likely. And we continuously are helping people readjust and understand what does matter to you, right?
Yeah.
And people have like, it is a learning process. And I think that's what a human matchmaker is really good at doing. It's like providing you that coaching and that support, which currently when you're swiping away, you have no support. You're just doing that by yourself, quite frankly, as entertainment.
Did you watch The Materialists?
Of course I did. We made so much content about it.
Great.
Hated the ending.
I just transparently only I was watching it on a flight and we landed. And so I didn't get to see the last 30 minutes. So I don't know how it ended, but it's
not good.
Okay. It's speaking very much to the world that you're operating in. How did it end?
It ended with her choosing the broke guy. Like, I get that Chris Evans is hot, but I don't think that's why are you moving in with a 37-year-old man with 4 roommates and you have not solved any of the problems that you guys have had for the last decade. So it was just like, this is an interesting way. I also thought like the sexual assault plotline was just so unnecessary, incredibly unnecessary, and just sort of was used as a plot device without actually like dealing with this as like a really serious issue that 1 in 3 women face.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Yeah.
That was like a weird jump scare. I don't know why they put that in there. I totally agree. Sorry, spoiler alert for anyone who's dying to see them. Dakota Johnson looked incredible.
She looked amazing. She looked amazing. She hasn't aged.
She's beautiful, stunning, had an incredible wardrobe. Okay, so that aside, is in the app experience, like, is the AI then watching the chats?
No. So once you both have said yes and been introduced and you both say something on the group chat, the AI leaves. Okay. So this is like very detailed in our privacy policy because we do not want you to feel like we're watching. Yeah. But we follow up with you. Okay. So we'll be like, oh, so did you go on it? Like, did you meet? Did you go on a date? And like try and get that feedback to understand, okay, what did you say like that you wanted? Yeah. What happened on the date? And how does that now change what we know about you and how we're reacting?
Yeah, I'd love to see some data on the dating results, like how successful the dates are as a result of being set up from an AI versus like a Hinge or Tinder or something like that.
So I think there's 2 different things. There's obviously final outcome and there's also time. So I think what people are really appreciating is that they're not going through like 50 to 80 profiles a day and swiping through that. People are very specific. Like if you're like, I want to only date a lawyer from Brooklyn, right? You can actually spend a lot of time on Hinge and not get to that like exact type of person, right? People are very specific, like brunette. So I want to date only Indians who are from India. I want to date someone. So someone said I only want to date someone on buy side, not sell side. Oh my gosh. Yeah. No. People are being very, very specific. Like I don't think we'd realize how like,
I'm sorry, sister. I can't.
It's like, actually, we do have that information. So we can service those people. But like also if you're going to add in 8 other criteria, probably not going to be able to do that. Yeah. But I think it's a huge thing on saving people's time because it's an entirely paid experience. Everyone knows that people are serious. Yeah. People have spent 20 to 30 minutes building their profiles. So people have a high intent. Yeah. And then what we're seeing is that, very high intent. Like I think, the average age on Stitch is 33. The average age on Bumble and Tinder is 24 and 25. So if you just think about the type of user in their like early 20s and compare that to a user who's in their early 30s, the sense of urgency, like it's so completely different.
Well, I also think the concept of matchmaking tonally is different than
entertaining yourself by swiping on a dating app.
And like dating that feels like one is more rooted in sex than the other, I think.
Yeah, for sure. But you can't take out the chemistry from the matchmaking. Yeah. Like that's the big thing we always tell people. It's just like, this isn't like an algorithm where it's like, oh, this is your ideal person. And like if we had perfect set of data, we would be able to tell you this is your soulmate. We can't do that because there is an X factor. There's probably 5 to 7 people who you should meet. Instead of doing a needle in the haystack and having to go on 300 dates to find that, the promise of Stitch is really how do we narrow that down, help you understand what are those filters that you want, and then actually go on those dates. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I'm not single, but I have some friends who are at the moment, and I don't envy the amount of time that's being spent in the chatting and back and forth. And I'm like, you guys gotta get out there and fail fast. You gotta be in the space and understand.
But it's exhausting. That's actually the big thing. It's like you just hear people talk about it, like they're exhausted. If you've spent 10 years of your life on Hinge, or you think about how long these platforms have existed, why would you feel hopeful that now for the 10th time when you download it, delete and download it again, you're gonna suddenly be like, yeah, my soulmate is probably here. And like this tooling is like actually beneficial to me. So it's a really interesting space to play in. And then, you know, we've been live since December in New York. Yes. So I'll get stopped on the street, like at events, and people will be like, "Oh, I'm like dating someone I met on the platform." Literally, we had an engineer who came in for an interview, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm actually dating someone who I downloaded the app just to test it out, and I've been dating over the last 3 months." I'm like, oh, like that's great. That's exactly crazy. What you want to hear. So I think for us, it's really like how much time can we save? And actually we think also about the time after, because there's things that you don't talk about on your like, you know, on date number 1 or on your profile, but we know those things, right? Like I might know that you want to move back to Minnesota because your father's not well. And then I might, and that's not something you'd ever put on a Hinge profile. And that's not something that might be revealed until like 6 weeks in. We know that. So we're never going to introduce you to someone who's like, yeah, I want to move to like London, and then I want to move to Hong Kong and like really like experience all those places. So we really think about this as like, how do you save time, effort, and hurt while still making sure that people go out there and go on dates?
Yeah, totally. What type of single person do you feel like this product is good for, is attuned for?
It is very much for a serious high intent dater. Someone who's like, I'm looking to find someone to seriously date. It doesn't need to be about marriage. You definitely don't need to be South Asian, because we get that question a lot. Like, we're not a South Asian dating app. But I think like the average profile of someone on Sitch is someone who has spent time on other dating apps, is looking for long-term commitment and partnership, is very much like, is very well educated, and is definitely like someone who you would probably hang out with yourself, you know, because we spend a lot of time curating our crowd.
Yeah. Oh, so cool. Okay. So tell me like where you're at with the company. You raised from A16Z Speedrun, like where
M13.
Nice.
Yeah. So we did a pre-seed with Speedrun in August last year.
Okay.
Launched in New York in December, and then did a 5 million seed led by M13 with A16Z as well. And then now we are in 4 cities. We're doing about 5,000 introductions a day, which is pretty crazy when you think about it, because we don't send you an introduction every single day. Anything. We have record-breaking conversion numbers in terms of like people who are accepted and then turn paid. You know, like,
oh, so you go through first and then you're accepted.
Once you're accepted, then so we actually switched the business model. So instead of you buying a subscription, because your dating app should not be like Netflix, you don't need that permanently. What we did was we kind of treated it like either traditional matchmaking or like a fitness class where you buy 3, 5, or 8 setups from us, and so it's very value driven.
Can I ask what the cost is?
Yes, so it's 3 for $90, 5 for $125, or like it's basically between $20 to $30 based on like the pack size. When you think about that, that's the price of a cocktail in New York
per introduction. Okay,
yes,
got it. Cool.
So super, like we wanted it to feel accessible, but not to the point where it was like, oh, this is like $1,000, $2,000 purchase that you then are thinking twice, because then that makes matchmaking a very different type of person, you know, because matchmaking does have a lot of stigma. No matter what materialists, like who were all of the different people who were using her services, no one was like, oh, this is like someone who's like cool. Like, so we're really trying to destigmatize matchmaking as this like cringe factor and just say, look, you have a coach for everything, right? You have a therapist, you have a career counselor, you have a college counselor, you have a nutritionist, you have like all of these people who help you improve other parts of your life. So why is it that with your love life, which is arguably the most important thing, you're like, yeah, let me just like wing it.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. Okay, so you haven't raised your A.
No, we haven't raised our A. We will probably raise it we're actually like, obviously because we're making a decent amount of money right now. So for us, we have like so much cash in the bank that it's not like oh shit, we're going to run out, so we need to do an A. But I believe I have a really big vision. My co-founder and I have this huge vision of where we want to go with Sitch, right? We're in 4 cities now. At the end of the year, we'll be in 5. By the end of next year,
we
want to be
city?
Austin.
Nice.
Yes. So we're going to do Austin second week of November. Very exciting.
Great. Exciting.
And then we're going to be in 20 cities by the end of next year. So it's a pretty aggressive growth strategy. And honestly, when you think about matchmaking, we want you to only think about Sitch. So expect to be sick of seeing us, especially around like the holiday season, January and February, which is the peak dating season.
Okay. January and February is?
Yes. Because think about It's New Year's Day. You're like, I am not going to be single in 2026.
Okay.
So Jan 2nd is always the biggest day for dating app downloads.
I didn't know that.
And then you have that 6-week stretch. Everyone is kind of like thinking, oh my God, Valentine's Day, I'm single.
Oh,
so we see a huge peak there. Probably raise an A in the spring.
Great. I love that. I can't imagine any January, February. I'm like, doing everything I can to not leave my house, but I guess I'm not single. And I guess
exactly. If you were single and alone in the winter, people are like, oh, I need to do something. And also, you know, California, it's not that cold. In the South, it's not that cold. Like there's definitely markets in which it isn't that cold. So people are very
I hope that Nashville's on your roadmap because
yes, it is.
Okay. That's where I live. And there's a big dating scene and people seem to spend a lot of money on it. So I'm like, you should tap into that.
People keep telling us like go to the smaller cities.
Yeah.
Because like people are really exhausted with dating apps and feel like there's like so much fatigue of like, oh shit, there's this like tiny group. Like, how do I find my person within that?
Yeah. How do you combat that fatigue around dating apps? Like, I feel like that is like the dialogue around those apps.
I think that people are really depressed when they talk about dating.
Yeah.
Our whole thing with Sitch, like our marketing strategy has been very much humor first.
Mm-hmm.
That's been a really important thing. So if you see any of our ads, if you see any of our content, it is not like, oh my God, you're going to be single forever, like, or like trying to sell these false dreams. It's very much like, we play into like popular narratives. We're doing this whole ad campaign right now about Halloween, which is like all the scary things you see on dating apps. Like we want people to know that, right? We like had a whole campaign in 260 subway stations in New York where it was like me as like a lawyer, one of those injury lawyers saying basically saying like, did you go on a really bad first date? You might be entitled to a free setup.
Nice.
And people loved it. Like I think it's like and giving people something. We've innovated on the product, the business model, and now the marketing. And I think that's what's capturing people's attention.
Yeah, it feels really fresh. I'm excited for you guys. Okay, do you have something to shill for 1 minute?
Yes.
Okay, let me just get 60 seconds on the clock.
Everyone needs to get a brick. We spend so much time on our phones. We are constantly scrolling. I'm always guilty of doing this. And honestly, you can put whatever timers you want on your phone. You are going to get through them. And you're going to be like, no, I need to see this TikTok that my best friend sent. You are wasting your life on social media. Get a brick and literally make sure that from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., you do not have access to any of your time sucks. I promise you, you will be so much more productive, so much more hot, so much richer. So just get it. It's like $50.
What's a brick?
It's an RFID device. Like it's this little square.
Okay.
And you like attach it to your phone. And until you tap it again, all those apps are blocked. You cannot unblock it.
Oh my gosh.
It's incredible.
Wow.
It will change how productive you are. And I promise you, it like will everything in your life. I've been doing this and I've literally got everyone on my company hooked onto it.
Huge show.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, link in the chat. Here we are in a minute. Perfect shill. I'm gonna check it out. I'm sold.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, Didi. What a pleasure to have you on.
It was so much fun.
Welcome back anytime. And I'm just really rooting for you.
Thank you. This is so much fun. It's so great chatting.
Great. Thank you. Music. Okay, great. Thank you so much. So fun. Yeah, let's see. We're going. We're moving. Okay, just give me 1 second. Brick. We're smashing windows. I'm okay. I think we can roll right in. Yeah, into Paris. Paris Martineau. How do you say it? Martineau. Hi, Dina. Nice to meet you. Oh my gosh. I love how your glasses are matching exactly to your shirt and pants.
Thank you. When I bought these, I had an editor be like, oh, are you going to do a Billy Joel thing and get glasses for every outfit you do? And I'm like, that's too expensive. I could just buy all future clothes in these colors.
Right. Well, it's totally working. I love it so much. It brings out your beautiful eyes. Okay. Investigative. That's probably the British way to say it. Investigative. How do we say that?
Yeah, investigative
journalist. Investigative journalist at Consumer Reports.
Yeah.
Previously at The Information and Wired.
Yeah.
I am so excited to have you on. Okay, so you have had a viral, I will call it, without holding back, a viral piece about lead in protein supplements.
Indeed.
Take it away. Tell us about what you found.
So at Consumer Reports, we decided to test like 23 different protein supplements, powders and shakes for heavy metals and an array of different other things. And what we found was kind of concerning. It was that like more than 2/3 of the products we tested had enough lead in one serving that our food safety experts say is like too much to have in a day. And I was a little surprised at how viral this article ended up.
Okay, let's just say 8.9 million views just on the tweet alone, and surely it's gone.
Yeah, and it's like it's kind of taken over the internet. I'm doing a lot of these sort of things.
Yeah,
I was surprised mostly. I mean, I think the reporting is fantastic, and our testing team did a great job. But I was struck by how many people use protein supplements.
Yeah,
and I think that's really what jumped out about this.
Yeah,
I had originally been thinking about it as like whenever I'm going to the grocery store, I see protein in a bunch of different products. And obviously that's not what we tested. We didn't test like protein pasta or protein coffee, but protein's everywhere. Everybody's protein maxing.
Yeah.
And that extends to supplement use. It's something, the unique thing about protein supplements is like people who are really into them, they take them every day.
Yeah.
Or multiple times a day. And that's especially concerning if you've got something like lead in there.
Yeah.
Because lead, even at low levels, it kind of like it lingers in the body and it can build up.
Yes. So I will say a couple things. One, I think you've totally hit a nerve. And I think you hit like a protein maxing like thread. And then two, when this article came out, it hit the boys club Slack like a bomb. We were like, because speaking to exactly what you're saying, like we're regularly intaking these supplements. And yeah, it's really concerning. Okay, so tell us about what lead can lead to or what.
Yeah, lead, I mean, the general take, lead, not good.
Not good.
There's no known safe level of lead. That's according to the FDA.
Okay.
And it was interesting kind of looking into the history of like regulations on lead in food, because it's basically just, it was higher and then they keep bringing it lower and lower and lower in various foodstuffs at the limit for safety. As more and more scientists come to the conclusion that, hey, there's really not a safe level of this to be ingesting regularly. What that means in your body is lead kind of like lingers in your bones. The body basically thinks of it like calcium, like it kind of looks similar.
Okay.
So it will be taken up into the bone and kind of stick around there for a bit. It can also hang out in your blood, other bad places for lead to be.
Okay.
And what that does to you is, it's especially a big deal, I guess, for children or people who could be pregnant, because it can have serious effects on like your development and nervous system.
Okay.
But for adults as well, it's not good.
Yeah.
It can lead to like hypertension, immune suppression issues,
Okay.
stuff with your kidneys. It's bad news generally.
Yeah. It feels akin to the microplastics conversation.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely a point of comparison I saw people making a lot. And I think that part of the reason why this story struck a nerve with people is it's just surprising. People take supplements because they think they're just a boon to your health. It's something that you can take to make yourself healthier and better. And they don't think about the fact that dietary supplements in the US are kind of a Wild West. There's very little of the traditional regulation you'd expect, like something like a over-the-counter drug or a prescription medicine. It's even not that comparable to how we regulate food. Essentially, the FDA, I mean, one, there's like no federal government standard saying, hey, this amount of lead not allowed in protein powders. There's like no limit for that. And that's because how the FDA handles dietary supplement regulation is they kind of leave it up to the companies themselves to decide like what counts as harmful in the product and then like how much of that is harmful and to test for it themselves. So it's kind of hands off.
Okay. I also loved in your piece, well, didn't love, but I thought was so interesting was your quote here, when the FDA does do inspections, it overwhelmingly focuses on domestic makers. That's a problem because a lot of these materials are sourced from foreign factories. That feels like a huge issue.
Yeah. I even reporting this, I was surprised to hear about kind of this whole like regulatory void. Then I was surprised when you look into it, like I reached out to the FDA and they said currently there's like about 12,000 registered supplement manufacturers. And that could be any sort of supplement, although protein supplements are hugely popular. And of that 12,000, the FDA only inspected 600 facilities last year. And I think the stat is like 510 of those were domestic based, 90 were abroad. And that's just, spot checking to make sure that these companies are doing what they say they're doing and complying with the law.
Yeah.
And it's not good that there's such a huge swath of the market, both foreign and domestic, that's completely not watched out for.
What are there any that are better than others? Like for folks that still want to continue to protein max with supplements, like are there any places that you'd be like, yeah, this is maybe a little bit better, or stay away from the plant-based ones? Or I know you probably don't want to make any.
We have so in the story we break down kind of our results into a couple different categories. There's 2 that had a lot of lead, so we say probably best to avoid those altogether. Others that we kind of break it down by how regularly you can have them while still being protective of your health. And there are some in the better choices category. There was one product that we had no levels of lead detected. It's all the way at the bottom. The other ones in the better choices had like lower levels where it's fine to have them daily. But the main thing I learned when I was talking to kind of nutritionists and people in the protein and exercise science space is, for the average American, you probably don't need to be protein maxing.
Yeah.
This is something that I was personally really shocked because I had totally I still have a box of protein pasta in my cabinet, like looking at me ominously. Just because I assumed, like everybody else, I was like, oh, I'm woefully protein deficient. There's gotta be, right?
Yeah.
But most people are not. And you really don't need to be having more than like the necessary amount for like staving off deficiency. It's called like the recommended daily allowance, unless you're in kind of some specific groups, like people who are pregnant, like certain types of older adults that have muscle loss, or like certain types of athletes. But it's not as simple as like, if you go to the gym, you should definitely be taking protein powder, which is kind of what I had assumed it was.
Totally. I really appreciated that piece in your report about, how the average American gets more than enough protein.
Like the average American woman, 135% of what you need. Average American man, 155% of what you need. It's not technically harmful to be having more, but you really don't need to. And if you're getting to that higher level by taking in like supplements or things that could increase your risk of lead exposure, you might want to reconsider that.
Yeah, it might not be worth it. There's some sort of big protein psyops that's happening that we need to.
It feels a bit like a psyop because I think we just like see the word protein. You're like, oh yeah,
let's go.
It's one I talked to. I wish I'd been able to feature this more in the article, but it already got kind of long. But I had this fascinating conversation with a food historian who'd kind of like gone through the archives, researched the history of like protein mania, and she was like made this astute point that it's one of the few like buzzwords in diet and wellness culture that hasn't been had kind of like a backlash. Like, it's not like the low fat diet or cutting down on sugar. Everyone's like, well, protein is good. Having more protein can always be good.
Maybe it's coming.
Maybe it's coming.
I do think that the next one is fiber.
I mean, that is also the thing I've heard from a lot of people is Americans are just generally woefully deficient in fiber.
Right.
If you want something to freak out about, you can look for fiber, I guess, because it's kind of hard to get the recommended amount of fiber.
I know the unfortunate thing with fiber though is that the supplement industry around fiber is like so old lady. Like
yes, that's part of the thing also, and it's just like it's harder to get in your foods. And also the turning to the supplement industry obviously opens up all the other doors we just discussed.
Yeah,
it's kind of a mess out there.
Yeah. I know. I'm kind of just like team eat whole foods.
That's what all the kind of nutritionists or actual like scientists and researchers in the field tell me is they're like, just go and eat real food.
Yeah, have a spinach salad. I don't know.
Yeah. It's not. I mean, I was similar. A lot of things about this story surprised me, but I was also surprised when I like looked at the research and like. Even vegans like can get enough protein pretty easily by eating whole foods. It's not that hard.
Beans are great.
Yeah, everybody loves beans.
I love beans. I made beans from dry this weekend. When it's
dried away.
And it took 4 hours. Like I was cooking those beans down for hours upon hours, and I was like, okay, I started this process 2 hours in, the beans were still hard, and I was like, we gotta the only way out is through. We just have to keep going.
No, I mean, I do think that's also probably part of the reason why there's this protein mania. It's like it's really easy to just be like, I'm going to have a protein bar, or I'm going to mix up a smoothie or something like that.
Totally. Okay. So what does it feel like to have like a fully viral piece? Like what came back at you?
It's strange. If you'd asked me this 2 weeks ago, I would have been like, oh yeah, I've had pieces go viral. I haven't had pieces go viral like this. There's like a certain level of like, the story gets away from you and it's no longer your story. It's other people doing stories about your story or responding to their perception of your story. And that's odd.
Yeah. Did you get any like weird stuff back? Did Big Protein come for you?
Yeah. I don't know. Everybody's mad at me. Some of the subreddits for some of the products we tested are really mad at me. There was one, I think, post that was like, why should we trust Paris Martineau or Consumer Reports? And I'm like, I'm glad you guys are having a fun time. Speaking of which, I'll be doing a Reddit AMA tomorrow. So the Redditors can get in my mentions if they actually want to.
I love
get a response.
I love that. You're just going straight into the belly of the beast.
Yeah. One of my favorite snarky comments is someone said, why should I trust a woman that only writes in lowercase on Twitter? And I'm like, that's a fair point.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, that's the only criticism I can actually say. Fair.
They'll come for like at the most surprising angles.
Yeah, it's really odd.
Wow. What are you thinking about working on next?
I mean, just generally food safety stuff. I had been covering tech for most of the last decade, kind of exclusively, and was really excited to jump into the food safety beat when I joined this investigations team on Consumer Reports. And it's been a great like launch for that. But perhaps I think we just talked about, there's a lot of like food safety issues going on and a lot of products that I think like deserve more scrutiny, either from a testing perspective or from like a general reporting.
Cool.
So if you have a product that you want investigated, hit me up.
Hit her up.
All my information's on my website, paris.nyc.
I love that. Okay, to wrap up here, do you have something to shill for 1 minute?
Oh, I do have something to shill for 1 minute.
Okay, great. Let me just get my 60 seconds on the clock here and take it away.
It's called Nickvember. What if instead of November, you instead of spending time with your friends and family and visiting cultural institutions in the month of November, you joined me in a crazy attempt to watch 30 Nick Cage movies in 1 month.
Oh my gosh.
That works out to about 1 Nick Cage movie a day. Will it break your brain? Possibly. Will it change your brain? Yes.
Wait, what are some Nick Cage movies?
One of my favorite, the one that started me doing Nickvember is Face Off, which is a classic Nick Cage face switcheroo movie. Other ones that are good, Snake Eyes. My sleeper fave of Nick Cage that I discovered last Nickvember is Vampire's Kiss, a very strange movie that kind of inspired American Psycho. That's Nick Cage, who hooks up with a woman and then may or may not become a vampire. It's a fantastic, honestly, Nick Cage, the thing is, Nick Cage has done enough movies. You could have like 5 Nickvembers.
Right. Oh, here we go. Perfect timing. Did he do what's the one about stealing the Declaration of Independence?
Oh, yeah.
That's his
National
probably
Treasure.
His big,
yeah.
That's his headline.
One.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a huge one.
Okay. What else is his headline?
Nick Cage is so I started last November from Nick Cage's early years going forward, and I would recommend that because he,
whole oeuvre.
He's a secret Coppola. He was originally Nicholas Coppola and got into film and like film acting, basically being like, I want to be a incredibly freaky auteur artist who takes almost a surrealist or kind of like postmodern approach to acting, and made some very bizarre choices that made a lot of people very mad at him and pissed off his uncle Francis Ford Coppola. So he changed his name to Nick Cage so we wouldn't have the Nepo baby sting on him.
I did not know he was a Nepo baby.
Yeah. I mean, Nepo adjacent uncle, but basically, Nepo, I mean, he definitely Nepo baby in the fact that he got a lot of roles. Nepo nephew, which I'd argue is the most Nepo baby sort of thing of all.
Another Nepo nephew or niece is her name Lola Young? She do you know Lola Young, the singer? Anyway, she's a singer, and she the reason that I always think about her when it's like Nepo adjacent is that her aunt wrote the Gruffalo And if you have kids, this book is like, the Gruffalo children's book.
Yeah.
But it's just such a funny, like, Nepo baby. She gets Nepo baby allegations. And I'm like, well,
it's the Gruffalo.
It's the Gruffalo. But then on the other hand, I'm like, she probably has a ton of money. So maybe,
get that Gruffalo dough.
Exactly. Paris, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks so much for having me.
And for stopping by. And the next report you do, please send it our way. We'd love to have you back.
Do.
Okay, great. Thank you. Music? Okay, great. Should we do some closing thoughts? We're live. We're a hot mic situation.
Totally. We love a hot mic. Wow.
We did it, Joe.
We did it, Joe, but also I learned so much.
I learned so much today on this live stream.
So much fun. I must dig in to see where my protein powder, if it falls anywhere on the report.
I was thinking about you. You're a big protein
supplement
gal.
And I am. And I also could see it. I'm like, I try to be really,
clean,
research driven and clean. And I could totally see it ending up at the very tip top.
Totally. I was also thinking about my creatine supplements, which Paris, maybe creatine could be next on your list there.
I'm so, great. That alongside the fiber, because it just, again, as we were saying earlier, everything in moderation.
Totally. The
in general.
What is it? The dosage makes the poison. The dose makes the poison.
Right.
But I am taking creatine every day. So
right.
That's a high dose, perhaps. Although I'm only taking 5 milligrams.
I guess it just depends on the concentration of lead
in the
creatine,
it does.
And other things.
I heard this crazy thing that for creatine takers, which I don't know if it's true or not, but it just sounded so silly. You have to take enough for it to move from your muscles into your brain. Like if you want the cognitive benefits, you have to take enough creatine for it to move past your muscles into your brain, which just like is a very funny visual. And I don't think is necessarily true. Have you heard that before?
No, but I think that's sort of the NAD. So maybe not muscles, but it is like saturate something.
Okay.
And then you get the full benefits, which sounds convenient for big NAD and big creatine.
Okay. On that note, thank you so much everyone for tuning in. We had a really fun show. Thank you so much to all our guests for coming, and we'll see you next week for Chinese peptides.
Yes, and also read Malware.
Yes.
boysclub.beehive.com.
There it is.
It'll dive into some of what we talked about today. See ya.
Bye.